All right, let's jump right in. In this explainer, we're going to draw a really clear line in the sand. We're establishing the critical boundary between assistive AI and operational AI, especially for those of you working in regulated environments. Understanding this one distinction is the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. So first things first, I want to be really clear about our perspective from the get-go. We see significant real-world value in AI. The goal here isn't to put the brakes on innovation, not at all. It's actually the opposite. We're here to give you the clear, defensible rules you need to move forward with confidence, safely and effectively. And just to put a fine point on it, let's be absolutely direct. This series is not anti-AI. We believe there is incredible value in these tools, and we know many teams are already using them to get amazing results. So you might be wondering, why this series? What are we trying to do? Well, a few things. First, we want to explain why so many of the AI use cases you see today are so successful. But then, and this is the crucial part, we need to clarify why the rules of the game change completely the moment an AI system moves from just supporting a decision to actually having the authority to act. Our main job here is to define that boundary. Okay, so let's start with a clear definition. When we say assistive AI, what are we talking about? Well, think of it as a tool that helps humans think. It's like having a super smart analyst on your team who can summarize huge documents or spot trends in data. But here's the key part. It has no independent authority. Its suggestions are reversible, its impact is contained, and that's why it's relatively easy and safe to adopt. And that brings us to the central idea of this entire module. It's really tempting to get caught up in how smart or intelligent an AI system is. But for governance, that's not what matters most. The real difference, the thing we have to focus on, is authority. This slide just lays it out perfectly. This is the mental shift we all need to make. The common view is that the difference is intelligence. A smarter AI can just do more. But the governed view, the one that's going to hold up when the auditors come calling, is totally different. The critical difference is authority. The real question is, does this system have the power to act on its own? Let's just let that sink in for a second. The difference between assistive and operational AI is not intelligence. It is authority. This single principle governs everything else we're going to discuss. It's the bright line we absolutely have to respect. And why is this line so important? Because the moment authority enters the system, the stakes change completely. A simple failure is no longer just a glitch. It can become incredibly expensive. A small mistake can escalate into a reportable incident. And at that point, rigorous, formal governance stops being a nice-to-have and becomes absolutely mandatory. So, this idea of an authority boundary can feel a little abstract, right? How do we make it concrete, something you can actually audit and defend? Well, we anchor it to a standard that many of you already know and trust from regulated manufacturing and logistics, the ISA 95 model. Now, before we dive into the model, let's just remember the core principle of these environments. In any validated, engineered system, like the kind you probably work with every single day, every significant action must be clearly attributable to a specific, responsible human. There can't be any ambiguity. Okay, here's the ISA 95 model, which we're using to map out authority. At the very top, you have level 4. This is all about business planning and analytics. This is the perfect home for assistive AI. But notice what happens when you go down to level 3, manufacturing operations. This is where authority begins. And anything below that, levels 2 and below, the layers of direct control and execution, for AI, that is strictly a no-go zone. So what does a level 4 assistive AI actually look like? Well, what's great is that this gives us a really clear, auditable checklist. Is the tool read-only? Are its outputs non-binding suggestions? Does a human have to interpret the output to make sense of it? And are the outcomes easily reversible? If you can answer yes to all of these, you are squarely and safely in the assistive camp. So here it is, the crucial point. The boundary is crossed the instant an AI's output starts to directly influence operations. If it's shaping work instructions, affecting a validated procedure, or changing a production schedule, it has moved from level 4 assistance to level 3 authority. That's the trigger. This brings us to a very practical takeaway. Here is a reusable, defensible narrative you can use for an audit. It clearly states that your AI tools are kept at the analytical decision support layer. That's level 4. And that any action affecting a validated system is approved and executed by a human under formal change control. This is your safe harbor statement. Clean, clear, and defensible.
Okay, so we've installed the boundary. We've drawn that line in the sand. Now let's just talk for a moment about what this means for you and your path forward with this material.
I want you to take a moment and just ask yourself this question honestly. Looking at your current projects or the ones you're planning, are you using AI only for assistive work? Does your use case fit neatly and completely inside that level 4 box we just defined? And here is the final takeaway. If your answer to that question was yes, then you might not need everything that follows. But if you want your AI to act, to integrate with other systems, or to operate in any capacity within a regulated framework, in other words, if you want to cross that boundary into level 3, then the rest of this material is absolutely, positively non-optional.